Hey guys, it's Han. As you can tell by the title, I've been working in Web3 for 7 months now, which is crazy because it went by like that. Like, that went so fast. I can't believe it's been 7 months. I was actually supposed to film this video at 6 months, but life got really busy as usual, and next thing I knew it was 7 months. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do a 7 months in Web3 video. The reason I'm filming this video is to kind of act as almost like my own little personal diary. And I can look back on these videos and see how far I've come. So hopefully this is going to be kind of inspiring for people that want to get into Web3 and NFTs and that sort of stuff. Otherwise, just check out the journey that I've been on in this crazy 7 months. Side note, I got engaged, which is super exciting, so that also happened, but I know there's nothing to do with Web3, but I had to throw that in. Okay, that's it, I'm done, let's start. So the whole reason I actually decided to film these sort of process videos, I know they're super spaced out, was kind of to act as like a personal diary. And when I first started in November, I started out as a hobby. I had no idea what I was doing. I was kind of just going with the flow and learning as I was going. And it was a hobby. It was a thing I was doing on the sidelines. And now, 7 months later, this is my full-time job. I work full-time every day, all day in Web3. Which is crazy to think you can. I wouldn't necessarily say it was an entire career change because I'm still doing art every day, so it's something that's very normal to me. But to say that my full-time job, I work in Web3 in a Web3 tech company as a creative head, or like doing creative stuff full-time for Web3 products, it blows my mind. So in this video, I'm kind of just pointing out things that I've learned, things that I have experienced, things that I never thought that I'd be doing, how I've grown and what I've learned and where I want to go and what I want to do. And I think this is a great way to show the opportunity that there is in Web3 for people just starting out, that, if you put your head down, something good always comes out of it. So these aren't going to be listed in any particular order or timeline that they happen. They kind of just brain farts that I had and put on a piece of paper and was like, okay, put this in the video. So obviously, I have my helium heads collection, which I minted on SolSea. I think I have 47 helium heads now, which is crazy. And a whole bunch of them have actually sold, which is crazy. When I first started, I was so worried that I wasn't even going to sell one. And when I got that first sale, I was like, wow, I can say I'm an NFT artist now. But now, like, once you've sold a couple, you're like, okay, like, you get more and more confident with it. So I've got my helium heads collection on SolSea. I can put a little picture what it looks like. And then I released a second collection called Lost and Found. So Lost and Found is also on SolSea. So Lost and Found was basically created because I got a new iPad. My old iPad was so dead. And on my iPad, I usually keep a bunch of sketches and drawings of random doodles when I'm bored or don't know what to do, or I have creative block, and I will just create sketchbook pages. And I basically combined all of the sketchbook pages from my old iPad, and then I started drawing on my new iPad, and I just started adding everything together, and I created a bunch of art pieces, 13 different artworks based off of recycled art that I had already created when I had creative block. So it was the idea of being lost when I created everything because I had creative block and I didn't know what to do or where it was going to go, and then creating art out of that, and then you become found. So this is my second collection, Lost and Found. So that's something else that I did. I created a new collection from scratch, got it verified, and that was very exciting. I sold 3 pieces this week on this collection, which has been very cool. I also created a Discord server for myself. I never used Discord before I entered NFTs, and I never saw myself having my own server, but I did, and we've got some people on there. It's not super active at the moment though, but if you want to join and chat away, then feel free. I'll leave the link in the description of this video and you can join my Discord server. Yeah, it was kind of just a place for artists to connect, or holders to connect, or people getting into Web3 to connect, to learn, to inspire. It's an art hub, and yeah, it's kind of just a cool place to be. I also learned about new blockchains. So obviously I started on Solana and SolSea, and that's great. I'm still very active on Solana, but I also learned about other blockchains and other NFT marketplaces. I've also really broadened my art collection. So I love collecting art NFTs, and I'm the type of person that holds on to my NFTs. I don't flip them. So I've got a whole bunch of new artworks, like I'll put some of them on the screen, and these are all part of my collection that I have found and resonated with the artwork or the artist or the project or whatever the case may be. These are in my digital collection, and I think that's so beautiful about NFTs is you no longer have to go to a gallery or a museum to see beautiful art. You can curate your own digital art collection in your own little metaverse, which I think is so cool. Obviously, I love traditional art, so I still have a lot of art around my house, a lot of prints, a lot of original art canvases, all of that. That will never go away, but I think it's awesome to have this whole other art experience of collecting beautiful art, and it's all digital. Obviously, you can print it out and you can put on other stuff if the license allows it, but I think that's really cool about NFTs. Another thing, I have made a lot of new friends, and it's funny because I've never met them, but in this whole Web3 world, no one that I know is based where I am. So there's people in Australia, or people in the US, or people in Canada, or wherever they are, they're not where I am, and you got to battle with time differences, and this person wakes up and that person goes to sleep, so they only see it when and it's nice to have that sort of funky friendship. Another thing that I learned is how to 3D sculpt and model. So this is something that I had learned a couple of years ago. I learned how to use Blender and I loved it, but it was quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. And I didn't have the time when I learned Blender to actually really learn everything like I do with the Adobe products. Obviously I'm a designer, I use those products every single day, so I could catch on to those very quickly. Blender I was using in my spare time, not so often. Anyway, so I bought this app called Nomad Sculpt and I've got it on my iPad. It is the easiest 3D modeling, sculpting software ever. Oh my word. And I started sculpting some of my helium heads, making them 3D, popping them into Procreate, coloring them, adding textures. Yeah, that's something else that I learned, and it opened up my portfolio to being able to perhaps creating 3D NFTs one day, which I think is something that is coming in the near future. Another thing I do want to open up to is painting and drawing in VR, because I have an Oculus, and I've always wanted to try and draw or paint in virtual reality, which I want to try. Maybe I should actually do a video on this and like my experience, because I've never tried it, but I don't even know if there's apps for that. But yeah, that's something I want to try. I'll put my Oculus on and like paint in virtual reality. I don't know, it's cool. I also learned about generative art and building communities from scratch, building up projects, and that's been really cool, learning how to build a community, make friends, and get on whitelists, that sort of stuff in these generative projects. So I have some friends in South Africa and they have these really cool projects that they're working on. From like the sort of earlier stages, I got invited to their project Discord. So I really learned how to build a community, how to network with people in that community, how to get on whitelists, how to complete missions, how to just really embrace a community, and that's something I didn't have as a one-on-one artist. Yes, you have your own community that you build with and whatnot, but it was awesome to go into a complete new community of people and get to know them from scratch and understand their project and read the roadmap and look at their website and get excited for a mint date and earn their token. And I was always sort of negative towards generative projects until I actually understood that some of these projects are actually, they're there for the better and really give back to their community. And I think that's something that some projects really hit the nail on the head. Other ones, rugs aren't so cool. But yeah, that's something I also learned. I also got invited to be on Espovisuals podcast with Sydney Espo and her brother Matt. That was awesome. So when Sydney first messaged me on Twitter, I was like, me? Because Sydney is a really great artist. She's really involved in Web3. I've left the link down to her podcast in the description as well if you want to check it out. And she sort of did like a little interview. We spoke about graphic design and NFTs and art and becoming a full-time artist, and it was just really awesome to have a chat with them. Anyway, I was on my first podcast, Web3 podcast, and that was really awesome and definitely a highlight of what has happened in these last 7 months. Another thing that was an absolute highlight was I was asked to join a Twitter space by SolSea. So the NFT marketplace that I sell my NFTs on, they asked me to be a speaker on one of their Twitter spaces as an artist, and we spoke about unlockable NFT content. So I was on there with Sydney and my friend Lisa, and myself, and us three were the artists, and we were there with the creators of Darkblock. Darkblock is the company and software that makes unlockable NFTs available on the Solana blockchain, so that was really cool. And yeah, it was just crazy to be invited by the official SolSea to speak on their Twitter about unlockable NFTs and what that means for artists and the future that it could hold, and the potential, the possibilities that artists have with unlockable content. So that was awesome. It was also very scary because it was the first time that I'd ever been on a Twitter or spoken on a Twitter space. Because obviously, I always listen, but I've never spoken. And it was really cool to have that opportunity to speak. So that was definitely another highlight. It definitely was a challenge because, you know, speaking in a Twitter space, these are all total strangers that you are connecting with and chatting with, just having a conversation. But honestly, it was so awesome, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Another thing is I bought a Ledger wallet, which is really cool. So Phantom, MetaMask, Coinbase, all of those are what you call soft wallets. They are constantly connected to the internet basically. Whereas a Ledger, which is known as a hard wallet or a cold wallet, it's kind of just like a USB and it's got a screen on it. These basically store all of your keys offline. So it's very difficult to get hacked, and people can't steal your money unless you directly give them the data. But you're not going to be doing that, hopefully. Yeah, so I got myself a Ledger. I got the Ledger Nano X. It's awesome. It works really well. I was nervous when I first got it because I had no idea how to use it. So I watched a quick YouTube video, and yeah, it was actually super simple. You can set it up in like 30 minutes. I watched a YouTube video, got it all done and dusted, and yeah, you get a new seed phrase that comes along with this specifically, which is very cool. And yeah, if you are thinking of getting seriously into NFTs or crypto or anything like that, I highly suggest getting a cold wallet or cold storage because it is the most secure thing for the blockchain. If you want to know more about Ledger, just check them out on their website. They can probably explain it a lot better than I can. So I think those are like most of the highlights that have happened in the last 7 months or so. I'm sure there are probably more, but I can't really think of them right now off the top of my head. Yeah, but all I can say is I really enjoyed this space, and being a woman in Web3, working in Web3 full time, I think the great thing is I'm a very curious person. So I always just dive head first, and I'm like, you know, if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out when I get there. And I think that's been the greatest thing about this Web3 journey, is because it's so new, the space is so new, and there are such few women in Web3. It's such a cool opportunity to just learn and to educate yourself and to grow your portfolio and to meet new people and to try new art styles and to learn 3D modeling or animation or whatever the case may be. I think it's so great to constantly push yourself and want to learn more. And I really feel the last 7 months have really benefited me. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next 7 months, you know. In November, it'll be 1 year working in Web3, and it's just crazy to think something that started as a hobby, something that started as just a side project or a passion project has now turned into my full-time reality. And you know, one day I hope to really grow in this Web3 world, and you know, in future I would love to create a HanSelah brand and really just delve deep into what I want to do. Speaking of HanSelah, I have rebranded, I've redone my logo, I'm currently in the process of redesigning my website, so as soon as that's up and running, all of this will probably change my logo, my channel art and whatnot. And I'm thinking of shifting my channel more to an NFT and Web3 space or a digital art channel, solely because this is what I do every day and this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I resonate with. So if NFTs, Web3 and that sort of stuff, the Metaverse, virtual reality, product design, web design, graphic design, any of that tickles your fancy, give it a follow, give this video a like, because that's where I see this channel going. So in terms of rebranding, that's hopefully coming soon. So I've sort of been working on that on the sidelines. But yeah, I'm very excited for the future and I can't wait to film another video. Maybe in November, because that'll be like a 1 year in Web3. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this journey and just, you know, walking through and seeing what I do. If you want to see more of my day-to-day, follow me on Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram, and like this video if you liked it. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see you soon. Have a lovely day wherever you are in this world, and I need to think of an ending. I don't have a good ending, but bye!